All right, we are looking at 93 Acura Legend, and this car's been the subject of another video that we actually made not too long ago that related to a brake line that was blown out. And if you've seen that video, then you've seen kind of the analysis from you know what my thoughts were pertaining to the brake lines. Now, if you look up in there, you can see there is a new brake line. Okay, shiny and new. We've got the brake system bled out. We did all of the brake lines because this car's getting pretty old. It's got fairly high mileage, and if one blew out, we thought, well, maybe we should replace them all. But of course, now that I've got a brake line on, and after some more thought and analysis, we've found our smoking gun. Now, the place where the brake line was blown out was right here. Okay, that's where it was blown out, and I've actually got the old brake line sitting over here. There it is. So you can see that it looks like it's been rubbing, and I kind of had a thought that maybe it was rubbing on the tire for some reason, but it really shouldn't. Anyway, it turns out that it is. Now that we've got that new brake line up there, and of course we could have done this with the old one in place, but anyway, I'm gonna grab this wheel and turn it by hand all the way over so the car is all the way to the left. And as you can see up in there, voila. So that's where we're getting our rubbing. Now you might say, well, why is it rubbing there? It shouldn't be doing that. And you're right, it shouldn't be doing that. I believe that the reason that it is because we have a strut installation problem. Okay, if you look at the struts on this thing, it is a, let me get the light shining up in there a little better. Okay, typical Honda double wishbone suspension, something that they put on all their cars back in the day. All right, well, let me show you something. This bracket here should be back over here. Okay, and this bracket here should be twisted around over on this other side back over here. Now, the reason that I know that is because on these struts, on these Honda struts, there's a little, oh, it's almost like a key right here. That little piece kind of sticks down, and it is supposed to go right over in here. If I can show it maybe better from this side, it's supposed to go down in this gap. If it's going down in that gap, it means the strut is aligned properly. It's possible to align this strut any which way. Because it is a double wishbone, it's not a McPherson design, the strut doesn't turn. So the strut does not rotate. So what needs to happen is that strut needs to be loosened and adjusted so that it will line up properly. If we go over here and we look at the other wheel, okay, see where our brackets are? This bracket here and then that other bracket around there. Okay, so imagine this strut right here, this assembly rotated around this direction. It would take this line and it would put it right over here, so that when this wheel turns to the right, then it would rub right there. So there is no conspiracy. This person does not have any secret enemies that secretly cut their brake line. They just had some struts poorly installed. Have to be very, very careful with this kind of stuff. This is why inexperienced technicians, or technicians that don't care, or technicians that are just plain clueless, can be dangerous. So once again, look at this side and then look at that side. See the difference? That's the problem. So we need to make sure that we know what we're doing when we work on a car. We need to make sure we have a clue how things work. What I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen up the strut here, and then up on top if I loosen the top nut that holds the strut together just a little bit, I may be able to rotate that around in place. If not, then the whole strut has to come out. We'll have to compress it, pull the spring, and then reinstall the mount up at the top, because that's the thing, is we got to get the strut mount up at the top to twist. So we're going to do that, and we'll see if we can fix this up so that brake line doesn't continue to rub.